No. But you might want to get one anyway. Now, I'm not claiming to be a professional photographer, but I've been using the 100-400 from Sony since 2021, and I want to be sharing with you my practical experiences in telephoto photography based on the time that I've spent with it, and I've actually used it in quite a lot of styles. So stick around and let me help you decide on whether or not you should be getting one. First things first, what is a telephoto lens? To put things simply, it's really just a big ass lens, and that lets you zoom in from afar, and that's why paparazzi photographers love using it, so that they can invade in someone else's privacy. But the actual definition has to do with the focal range of the lens being longer than the actual physical body. Typical range would be something longer than 70mm or 85mm. Now, I'm pretty sure you're curious about the glaring disadvantages and make you hesitate in getting one. And the biggest one, of course, is why most of us hold off on getting ourselves some nice things: the cost. Like, this Sony lens actually cost me around $2,700 US when I got it, and that's really not cheap. That probably cost as much as my kidney. But remember, we have two of those. There are going to be some cheaper alternatives out there, like from Tamron or Sigma, but I'm gonna be honest that I'm not the type of person who actually goes around and does their research and compares every detailed specification of all the gears out there. I want to make things just simple for myself and think about what kind of shots that I actually want to take, and my cameras are Sony, so I tend to just use what Sony has to offer in terms of lenses. And honestly, I just like that this lens was white. Now, the size and weight of these things is definitely a disadvantage. I mean, just look at that. It's definitely looking like I'm overcompensating for something, and is actually the reason why I don't take it out with me all the time when I go out to shoot. If you're a regular viewer of this channel, you'd know that I go on a lot of long and challenging hikes for the photos that I take around here in Hong Kong. If I know that on a certain hike I'm not going to be using the telephoto a lot, or if the trail itself is going to be a lot more challenging than usual, then I'm just going to suck it up and accept the fact that I may not be able to take all the photos that I want to take that day. I also go on travels once in a while, and packing this big boy is a little bit tricky because I'm not going to be putting this in my luggage and risk the airport staff manhandle things. And I really just pray that the airport staff on check-in won't weigh my backpack, because no way that's going to be less than 7 kilos with all the gears that I'm carrying. Generally speaking, telephoto lenses have a higher minimum aperture. For example, this Sony lens has a variable range of f4.5 to f5.6 as compared to, let's say, f2.8 or f4 from standard zoom lenses, which can be a bit limiting in, let's say, low light situations or when you want to shoot things fast. It's definitely not for quickies. Now, there can be some options out there like the 70-200 f2.8 or telephoto primes with wider apertures, but again, you have to be prepared to spend more if you want things to open wide. Another disadvantage is how sensitive the lens can be in terms of camera shake, because we are zooming things, even those tiny movements or vibrations will be magnified. Even, let's say, when you're using a tripod, even just pressing that shutter button will introduce some camera shake and mess up your frame. And it's something that actually happens to me quite a lot, let's say in my moon photography or when I'm shooting things handheld, where I didn't set the shutter speed fast enough and I ended up with failed frames. A workaround for that though is either to use a remote shutter cable or set a 5-second timer so that the camera can stabilize after you press the shutter. Now, the last disadvantage that I'm going to be sharing is that it's not really a discreet lens at all. I mean, just look at that thing. If you bring this out, people are really going to be noticing. And maybe you're a fame whore who wants attention, but if you want some photos that appear very candid and without people noticing you, then you have to think about how to be stealthier in those moments. And then sometimes, depending on the location, there might be restrictions about the actual gear that you're carrying. For example, in concerts or places with religious or cultural importance. And also, because it's attention grabbing, then it might make you more susceptible to theft. So just be cautious about that. Now, that said, are those actually reasons why you won't be needing a telephoto lens? Not really. While it's not going to be appearing on this triangle, the fact that you're watching this video means that you survived in your photography journey so far without owning a telephoto lens. On a personal experience, I probably use this lens, let's say 20% of the time or even less. And even on the days that I actually bring it with me, I maybe use it for only a handful of photos. But that said, some of my absolute favorite photos were actually taken with it. and I'm gonna be sharing with you the reasons why I actually love this lens in a bit. But you see, when I first got into photography, I really thought that telephoto lenses was really just for the wildlife or sports photographer. And if you're leaning into those genres, just go get it. You're gonna be needing it. And especially if you want to be a professional, then this one is going to be paying for itself anyway. But I found from my experience that this lens is really so much more, even from an amateur perspective. Which brings me to the fun parts. Why do I actually love my telephoto lens? Wide angles exaggerate the foreground, making use of the distortion around its edges. Nifty 50 lenses are recommended because they are the what you see is what you get kind of lens, because they recreate the natural perspective that you see with your eyes. And telephoto lenses are unique in the way that the things that you capture with it aren't exactly what you see with your eyes. Because of the zoom perspective, we introduce a thing called scene compression, where it looks like you're bringing the background much closer, but in reality the subject is just moving further away from you, just like your ex-girlfriend. And that is really why I love these moon photos, because it takes a lot of planning for these shots, and where else can you see yourself being captured with the moon in such a way that it emphasizes the scale? Being able to zoom that far definitely can bring you a lot of very unique photography opportunities. Just like for my landscape photography, where I just stand on one spot, grab a telephoto, and still be able to capture different frames within that grand view. And it may sound like a lazy approach to photography, but I'm just gonna say that I'm just maximizing my gear's full potential. But that said, this is especially very helpful for me here in Hong Kong, where there are a lot of hiking trails with grand views of the city, and I can find different framing ideas for the unique skyscrapers. And that actually brings me to my next point, that these telephoto lenses can help you in simplifying compositions. One challenge, let's say in wide-angle photography, because you can include a lot of things within your frame, it can actually lead to a lot of clutter or distractions if you weren't mindful enough in your framing, and you would really need to move around to arrange everything together. But with a telephoto, the field of view is so narrow, which can be used to simplify, fill the frame, and focus on the subject. But that's not all it can do. It can actually help you in very challenging situations. For example, in landscape photography, one of the biggest considerations that you have to make is going to be the sky. Is it going to be burning? What's going on with it? Does it look like God is about to take you to heaven? But what do you do when the sky is boring and not really exciting to shoot? You got that right, you just go back to bed and sleep in. Or you can just bring a telephoto lens and make use of the narrow field of view to limit the amount of sky that you're adding, or even exclude it completely. Going back to that point about simplifying compositions. I've also used a telephoto lens for my travel photography in crowded touristy places. Now, the crowd in photography is something that you cannot really control. I mean, you can, of course, just wake up very early to avoid them, but when you're traveling, your time is going to be very limited, and you can probably just prioritize and do this for 1 or 2 specific locations. And that's not going to be a good use of time if you're just shooting at specific times of day. We actually want to maximize our time during our trips. And this is where I use my telephoto, where I try to take photos that don't exactly scream snapshot taken by a tourist. And by simplifying the view, more often than not, you can manage how to deal with the crowds. Just like in these photos where I use the crowds to add a sense of depth and layer them with the background. All in all, I highly recommend a telephoto lens. It's a lens that completely changed how I approach my photography, even from an amateur perspective. But it can be a very big investment to a lot of people. So before grabbing one and getting yourself buyer's remorse, prioritize and think about whether these are the kinds of photos that will get you motivated in picking up your camera and taking photos more often. Subscribe if you found this video helpful, and if you want to see me use this lens, this video is just for you. See you there. Thanks for watching.